Welcome to week 2 of Confidence Picks here on the channel. I'm Steve Deace from Michigan Podcast and Bigger Ten. He is Aaron McIntyre from Bigger Ten as well. Each week we show up here with our Confidence Picks on every Big Ten football game from here all the way to the end of the year. I don't think we've determined what humiliating act the loser must conduct and perform.
I never actually had to perform that last year.
So I guess, I'm going to go ahead and bank that in case I lose.
Okay.
And then I could just say we're even.
Okay.
And then if I win, though, I'll come up with something doubly humiliating for 2 years in a row that you've got to make up. Fair?
Okay, that's
All
fine.
right, fair.
Yeah.
All right, okay, here we go. Last week, you were the winner because we had the one game we disagreed on. I liked Purdue and you liked Penn State, and that game ended up being the difference. So what? You have a 4-point lead or 3-point lead right now.
63-60, yeah. Also had Boston College in a different slot than you did, so that kind of helped, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, I guess I didn't suffer. You didn't suffer as much as I did.
Yes. So other than that, both of us had our losses in the place that you want to have them, which is lower down on the list. So for now, I did not suffer the big hemorrhage that I did last year at this time, but I have a feeling that might change this week.
All right, so I will run down my picks first. Let's start for week 2. Let's go 14 points on Michigan over Hawaii. Think of the great annals of Michigan football, Aaron. This is the winningest program of all time. I think it's second or third all time in win percentage. More Big Ten championships than any other program, and yet this is the biggest favorite point spread favorite Michigan has ever been.
That's saying something.
In a college football game, 51 points. I'm going to take Ohio State over Arkansas State, put my 13 points there, expect a big bounce back for C.J. Stroud. 12 points on Minnesota against FCS Western Illinois. 11 points on Michigan State over Akron, but I do expect this to be a little bit of a because it's a big sandwich look-ahead spot with Sparty going to Seattle next week. Purdue over Indiana State, which might have some intrigue if it were a college basketball game, but it's not. Rutgers against Wagner.
I did not know Wagner had a football
Neither
game.
did I. You see him every now and then in the NCAA tournament. This is Rutgers scheduling itself a W, and you know it, after last week's big road win, it deserves it. Indiana over Idaho, who is absolutely terrible. 7, I'm going to go with Maryland over Charlotte. Kind of surprised. Maryland did not cover last week against Buffalo.
Charlotte is bad.
Charlotte is bad. Will Healy was kind of one of the young, hot names coming out of the COVID year. This program's not off to a good start. Nebraska over Georgia Southern, maybe the two most embattled coaches of the last 3 to 4 years of college football. You've got Scott Frost and Clay Helton up against each other in this game. I'll say Nebraska finds a way to get it done. 5 points on Penn State over Ohio. Again, another ugly sandwich spot. Nittany Lions coming off that big road win against Purdue. Another big road game next week at Auburn. I could see this one also kind of being a snooze fest at Happy Valley. I'm going to go with Wisconsin over Washington State, but only 4 points, simply because the rest of these games are literally almost named the score Saturdays. 3 points on Northwestern over Duke. I don't think Duke is very good. I think they might go winless in the ACC. But these are the spots with Northwestern when they're laying 10 points at home that they can at times face plant that you've got to be careful. 2 points on Iowa over Iowa State. Everything should be setting up for Iowa State to finally get off the schneid here. But as I said on Bigger Ten, you simply can't pick Iowa State until you see them actually do it. So I won't. And my 1-point game this week, I'm going to take Illinois. Big revenge spot for them. They got beyond humiliated at Virginia a year ago. Now, Virginia lost a lot, but it still has an outstanding quarterback, one of the best in college football. Illinois comes back home. They should be 2-0, the Illini, after winning at Indiana. They found ways to lose that game multiple times. Indiana finally said, fine, we'll take it. It's a huge spot for Illinois to get back on track, and I do think they bounce back to get a nice win against a Power 5 foe in the non-conference.
My 14 spots also have Michigan over Hawaii. I think this has a chance to be in the 60, maybe even, depending on how good McCarthy actually ends up being. This could be a scoreboard breaking day. And that's what I would say if he lives up to expectations. Also have Ohio State over Arkansas in the 13th spot. This is just one of those classic Ohio State gets up 21-0 in the first quarter, and it's just it's over from there. Number 12, I'm a little higher on Michigan State, just by one notch over Akron. Akron also not good. Not good at all. I don't think Michigan State should have too many issues with them. Minnesota over Western Illinois. Could be. Western Illinois has been good, not like top 10 good, but they have been decent in the FCS. So they could be a little pesky, but Minnesota looked great. Again, that was against New Mexico State, which is terrible, but they looked very solid last week, unlike sometimes in their season openers. Purdue over Indiana State. This one should be no problem. Good bounce back for them. Confidence builder. Rutgers over Wagner. Same spot as you. 9 points. Again, I didn't know Wagner had a football team. We got Indiana over Idaho. Isn't Idaho going FCS?
Yes,
I mean,
they're
they are
FCS
dropping
now.
down.
Yeah.
Oh, they are out now. Okay. Didn't even realize that. Penn State over Ohio. You know, I know that Ohio has a good pedigree from Frank Solich's time there, but again, that's at Happy Valley. Home opener. I think they'll be all over Ohio. Maryland over Charlotte. Like I said, Charlotte is not very good. Maryland, you know, they didn't cover, as you said, but still a pretty convincing win over Buffalo last week, so they shouldn't have any issues there. I'm actually a little bit higher on Illinois. Illinois over Virginia at the 5 spot. They tried their best to lose that game. Also got jobbed.
Yes, they did. That was a touchdown catch, for example.
Well, multiple times by the officials. I get the officials also let Illinois off with a lot of contact in the secondary too, but that was a touchdown. Got jobbed last week. And then I've got Wisconsin over Washington State. Same in the 4 spot there. I don't think Washington State has any chance. But again, something has me a little bit weirded out about that game. But still, I think Wisconsin should win. Got Nebraska over Georgia Southern at the 3 spot. Something about this game also, even more than Wisconsin-Washington State, really stinks to me. I think Georgia Southern North Dakota stuck around until the 4th quarter last week. So I'm not predicting a win for Georgia Southern, obviously, because I have Nebraska over them. But I'm not very confident in that one. 2 spot, Northwestern over Duke. Again, Duke, not that great, but I all of these top 4 I guess 4 to 2, they just stink to me. So this one though, Iowa State over Iowa.
Nice fan hedge.
I don't know how you can look at Iowa's offense last week and say, yeah, they're going to improve to the point that they're actually going to be able to, walk in a straight line. So to me, I get Iowa State has to prove it to you until you can bet them. I get that. To me though, Iowa's offense has to prove it to me until I pick them in anything moving forward, even against Nevada.
Looking at my picks again, I'm wondering why in the hell do I have Nebraska more points on Nebraska than I do Penn State and Wisconsin? What am I thinking? What was I doing there? I wasn't thinking. Obviously, what the hell am I doing there? That's going to cost me.
Because it's called Georgia Southern.
Clay Helton is going to beat Nebraska, and
cost you 3 points,
and that's going to cost me 3 points more than it's going to cost you. That'll be the one loss for the Big Ten all week. Watch. All right, that'll do it for this week's Confidence Picks. We're back at it again next week. We'll see if I can narrow the very narrow gap with Aaron. Until then, thank you for watching right here on the channel.